Hi, Mitchell Levy, Global Credibility Expert. I'm very excited to get a question from Sebastian Little. And the question is,
Hi, my name is Sebastian Little. I'm a leadership and performance coach. And Mitchell, thanks so much for inviting me on the Dear Credibility Expert series. My question is this: how do we create content or materials or client materials or tools so that people want to spread our Credust across their friends, their family, their networks? So is there certain keys or formulas to creating content that allows it to be a multiplier or kind of viral type content? I would love to hear more about your thoughts. Thanks.
So it's very interesting, Sebastian, and thanks again for asking the question. You know, the thing that I'm thinking about is when first, there are two different questions. How do you create content that people want to share your Credust, share who you are, share what you've done? The second is, how do you create content that goes viral? Let's start with the viral first. What I'm going to say is, hey, nobody actually knows how to create stuff that goes viral. Many times people have created content that goes viral, like, oh, that was interesting. How did that happen? There are formulas you could use. There are techniques you could use. But remember, you said you wanted to create credible content, and you want that credible content to go viral. So let's describe what viral is. First, when you, if you look at the mass media definition of viral, it's having, I don't know, millions of people seeing it or hundreds of thousands of people seeing it. And the question I'm always going to ask is why? If your audience is 10 people, if you can get 8 or 9 of those 10 people to see the message, guess what? You've gone viral. So the thing is, when you've done a really good job of articulating who you are and who you serve, if you articulate your purpose, articulate your CPoP, your customer point of possibilities, where you've been able to describe who is the audience you serve and either what pain point or what pleasure point you deliver for them, then what happens is you can do a much better job of articulating, of finding, of researching, of knowing who you need to reach. What is your audience? And if you're looking at your audience, then virality for your audience is different than industry standards. So first, I would like to encourage you, depending on who you are in terms of listening to this, who you serve, is having something go viral. Make it your definition of viral, which is I'll give you mine, a reasonable percentage of those people who may ultimately be involved with or be part of or want to purchase from me, right? Or purchase from you. So the thing that's interesting is you don't need to create content. Like, for instance, if you're doing a particular job, going on to TikTok and creating a TikTok video that gets a tremendous number of views because you're dancing, you don't normally dance, that may not help you in terms of you winning over the hearts and minds of your audience. So virality by somebody else's standards may not be something that delivers the value that you need for virality for your standards. So I'm just going to say, let's focus on this thing of viral, meaning that a good percentage of those people who could potentially hire you, who care about you, a good percentage of them get to see you. We're going to call that viral. So how do you create content that people want to spread? Well, you want me to give you the easiest answer? Ask them, right? So when you're talking to people, you ask questions like, well, what do you want to hear? Guess what? I've asked the question for Dear Credibility Expert. What do you want to hear? I'm hoping you think, oh, this is really cool. Let's share this content. So ask. I go out to my LinkedIn folks and I actually ask, hey, what question would you like me to answer? That's a credibility question. You can do surveys, whether or not you do online surveys or physical surveys. You can have certainly, as your salespeople are selling, they could be asking questions for existing customers, and you have existing newsletters. What is it that you'd want me to talk about? What is it that's interesting to you as you're learning, as you're growing? A lot of times, if you spread somebody else's Credust, even if that somebody is a competitor, we've been taught that if you spread your competitor's content that you are going to lose because they're going to see your competitor and they're going to hire them and not you. I'm going to call BS on that. I'm going to say that if you are spreading cred dust, the person who's receiving that content is, yes, they'll appreciate the content that you shared, but they're going to appreciate you for sharing it, and particularly your spin on sharing it. So I'm going to suggest that you wait. This is interesting. You got 2 ears. You listen to your audience. You listen to the prospects. What is it they need? What are they focused on? You listen to your customers. Hey, listen, I know we solved this issue today. What do you think the problem is? What do you think the issue is tomorrow? And then start thinking about the questions that your prospects, your customers are asking. Start thinking about other providers, other people who support you, other partners that you work with. Start thinking about their questions. And then start creating content that is of interest. Great example. Marshall Goldsmith had a meeting with the 100 coaches talking about all things he learned with the latest book he did, which is The Earned Life. It was a phenomenal event. Now, for me, I'm thinking, God, this is cool. And watching the people in the room be so interested, watching my peers get so interested in this consumption, I got the idea and I got the impression I'm going to write an article being a hybrid publisher. I'm going to write an article on, as someone who's a coach or a consultant, if there are 3 options for your book, traditional publisher, self-publishing, hybrid publishing, why should you choose which when? That's an article I'm going to write because I just saw the demand in the marketplace. Does it go viral? For me, virality would mean that the people who see it, the people who I want to serve, the people who I want to see, who can see me of value, who may want to partner with me on other things because this is something I do, I want them to get excited and want to share it. And so I will make sure that going forward in the future, coaches, consultants, that the types of people who typically are clients of the hybrid publishing company, that they see it. Another one that I did recently, I did a series of surveys on accountability. Well, accountability and credibility is very closely tied, and there are people doing aspects of accountability in the 100 Coaches organization, and I'm excited to find ways to partner and to actually share the information and include it in things that are relevant. And I'm very excited about Rhett and Susie who are doing stuff in that area, right? And so, and by the way, guys, I'll make sure we put we tag you on this. What I'm going to say specifically is find the audience you want to reach, figure out how best you want to serve, and to be able to do things that empower the people you're talking to, that empower the audience with information that is potentially new to them, information that can serve them, information that they want to share with their network because it's going to provide their network with more value. And by doing that, the really cool part, the really amazing part is that you don't know which of all the stuff that you're creating, of all the stuff that you do, you don't know which one's going to work. You don't know which one's going to take off. You don't know which one's going to be most powerful. I realized I used Susie and Rhett's first name. So Rhett Perrell, Susie Burke, thank you both. We'll do some stuff on accountability. You just don't know when you're working with folks, the thing that is most exciting to them. So, you pick things you're working on, you pick things you're excited about, you pick things that your partners are working on, and you write about it. Now, writing could be like I'm doing here in video. Writing could be physically writing. Writing could be a lot of times what really is powerful for me is when I do surveys in the community. And some of the surveys take off and some of them don't. So I'm finding which surveys get a large amount of reach and a large response. And then what happens is you take that content and you write more about it and you share. So hopefully that you find that useful. And what I'll say to you is to summarize, make sure you define who your audience is. So viral doesn't necessarily mean the same definition of viral that's used on the consumer side. You want the definition of viral be the definition for you to reach a ample amount of the audience that you need to reach, who needs to see what you do. And when they see what you do being valuable, they will share it. They will spread your Credust. And then you, by the way, you make it easy for them to share, and they'll spread your Credust and start talking about you and the things that you're doing. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Take care. Bye now.